In a world of endless fandoms, one podcast dares to cover them all. Welcome to Between Two Batcaves, your go-to HQ for everything from comics to the screen and all the IP in between.
Join your hosts, Austin and Jordan, for weekly coverage of the comics, shows, and blockbuster hits that keep us coming back for more. So thanks for hanging with us and being part of the next entry into the Batcave saga.
All right, hello, and thanks for hanging with us today on this episode of Between Two Batcaves. We are your hosts. I am Austin Luke, and he is Jordan Brownstein. And today, we will be reviewing Stranger Things Season 5, Volume 1. Jordan, it is finally here. It is a big day on the pod. We have been working up to this for quite some time now.
Not only for what we're covering, but how we're covering it. We're making some pretty big steps on the pod over here, if you couldn't tell already.
If you're seeing our faces right now, maybe you've seen them before. Yes. Maybe this is your first time seeing them. I know for a fact this is your first time seeing them in tandem with the Between Two Batcaves logo on the top of the screen, because we are now in video format.
Let's go.
We've been talking about this a little bit, and we wanted to expand into some video format. We wanted to use it as a way to help grow our channel and grow our community, and also just play around with the tools that are available to people that have a hobby like Jordan and I. And we follow a lot of people that have great podcasts, and they do great visual mediums with it. So we wanted to give it a go for ourselves, and this is the first round. So if you're catching our first video episode, welcome to the new home of Between Two Batcaves.
Now you can actually see what the Batcaves look like,
which are pretty cool, I gotta say. We got good setups. We got lots of toys, lots of artwork. Jordan's got some sweet artwork up in his corner there.
Some real grown-up stuff going on over here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I got my dog right here. He will be joining. You'll probably be seeing a lot of him on the pod. This is Benny. He's in and out.
Hey, buddy.
This is Benny's sheep. I don't know if anybody can see his sheep, but it's his emotional support sheep. He suckles it at night. It brings comfort to him. Please do not make fun of Benny for his sheep. So, Benny, honorary third chair of the pod. I'm sure, Jordan, your pups might be coming in and out as well.
Oh, they'll make their presence known. Of that, I am sure.
Either digging into the couch or hopping on your lap.
They are very skilled at finding the perfect time to make a ruckus. So if we get through this whole episode without hearing a howl or some kind of shenanigans going on over here, I'll be surprised.
Personally, I don't want to watch a video podcast without somebody's dog in it. So I think that's a welcome addition. Yeah.
Feels like a plus.
So yeah, big day for us. Give us some leeway here. This is our first time doing it. I've been messing around with this software all day, trying to figure it out. I think I kind of got the hang of it, but there's going to be a learning curve as always. So just know that now you have more outlets to listen or view us. Jordan, I'm curious. I'm typically a visual or a auditory podcast consumer, but I do occasionally like to pop on a YouTube video or the Spotify video feed of the podcasts. I like to put the faces to the voices, and I really find it enjoyable when the faces that I see are not what I expect at all. So
I'm interested to hear if that's the experience other people are having. But yeah, I agree. I'm audio only by necessity, like on commutes and things like that. But then if I'm at home, like cooking dinner or something or whatever it might be, I'll probably, if I can, throw a podcast up on YouTube, or Spotify has the video feature now too. It's just kind of nice. Yeah. It's more engaging.
I'm with you. So I hope we don't disappoint people. I hope that people open up the YouTube stream or the Spotify stream or whatever, and they go, wow, these two are more handsome than we thought.
Otherwise, you'll see me with a brown bag next week.
We'll be brown bag man. We'll just be cosplaying Spider-Man.
I mean, I might be wearing a brown bag regardless, depending on what happens with the Ravens on Sunday, but that's a conversation
Fair.
for another pod.
So enough about us and our goals here. Before we get into the podcast, just want to say happy late Thanksgiving to anybody who celebrates. We are recording this. This is our first recording after Thanksgiving. We both had a couple good Thanksgivings. Jordan, you hosted Thanksgiving at your house for the first time.
Maddie and I threw down. We did the whole turkey. We threw some sides together. We hosted. We had both of our families over. Had like 15 people in and out of our house, and I think we did too good of a job because now we've set the bar too high. So
That's always tough. It's always tough.
I mean, maybe should have set the bar a little bit lower going into next year, but if I'm going to do something, I want to do it right. So
100%.
It was a good time. What about you?
I don't host Thanksgiving. Christmas is my holiday. I do Christmas dinner, but we do a big throwdown for Thanksgiving. It was a great time. A lot of good food, and my daughter, she spent a good amount of her time just running back and forth down. We did it outside in a tent, just down, up and
Smart.
back on the deck, just screaming "go." So we had dinner and a show, which was nice.
She was
And
moving pretty quick.
a tired kid by the end of Thanksgiving dinner. So a lot of fun all around. Sorry, lost my place.
Still in that post Thanksgiving haze over here too.
Absolutely. So let's get into the show. We got a lot to cover today, and I know we always say that, but today it is really
serious.
Before we can get into that, if you like what we're doing over here on Between Two Batcaves, please let us know. Whether this is your first or 36th episode with us, or somewhere in between, we would love to know what you think of the show. First, follow the pod to stay up to date with all the latest from Jordan and I. Next, leave us a review and rate us on the podcast app of your choice. Lastly, share the pod. Share this with anybody who you know that is watching Stranger Things Season 5. It's off to a great start. We want to talk about it. We want you to talk about it with us. We want your friends to talk about it with you and then talk about it with us. Let's all talk about Stranger Things Season 5.
Let's do it.
Follow us on all the socials. You can keep up to date with us and contact us on any of our social outlets. We are on X or Twitter, whichever you prefer, Blue Sky, Facebook, and Instagram. We can also be reached at between2batcaves@gmail.com. All of the handles will be plugged at the end of the episode and put in the show notes. We are on a couple of new social outlets as well, since we are switching over to video. We are on YouTube at Between Two Batcaves.
Nice.
Please make sure to go subscribe and ring the bell over there. That would really help us out a lot. We're going to be uploading our full-length video pods over there, and we'll be uploading a lot of shorts over there as well. As we mentioned earlier, you can now find our full-length video podcast on Spotify. So if you want to see our pretty faces, go check those out. TikTok, follow us over there. We're going to be uploading a lot of clips on TikTok. So those are our two video outlets. Yeah, go check those out. This is brand new to us. We're not exactly sure what to do with it yet, but we're going to have fun.
We're going to figure it out as we go, as we have over the course of this is
5 months.
We're a solid 5 months into this thing, so
yeah,
we're figuring it out as we go. There's nothing to figure out today. We know what we're doing. We know why we've been gathered here today. We're here to talk all things Stranger Things Season 5, Volume 1. We will be discussing everything that has happened in episodes 1 through 4 that dropped on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. We're not wasting any time. We've said that before, and we've never wasted time, but we've spent time on other things before getting to the main event. That's done. That's done.
Not today.
We're nixing the Oracle report. We're gonna come back to that next week. We're gonna come back next week when there's a little bit of a lull with the content, so that we can catch up on whatever news that we missed this week as we've been buried in Stranger Things. Talk about some other shows that we're watching. I will get everybody else up to speed on what's going on in Pluribus and anything else that might be going on. I know we got Welcome to Derry finale coming up. Share Company finale was last night as we're recording this, so I have to go watch that, but that'll be next week. We're here to talk about Stranger Things, man. I mean, we spent the last 2 months like gearing up for this drop of episodes, and it's here. It's time. So, I mean, I think without further ado, let's talk about Stranger Things Season 5, Volume 1. And yes, that means we will be spoiling Stranger Things Season 5, Volume 1. So if you haven't watched it already, go watch episodes 1 through 4. Come back here. Pause the YouTube, pause the Spotify, wherever you're at, pause it. Go watch. Come back. Hey, buddy. Been a minute. We're going to talk about what happened in these episodes, right?
I
We're going
would
to talk about
love
how we feel
nothing
about them,
more.
right?
I would love nothing more. Sorry, I just got zoned out. I was trying to turn on Do Not Disturb on my laptop because, as I'm sure you saw, our buddy Remy was texting us, and I had to mute that.
Yeah, it's important. Whatever it is, it's important. But we got stuff going on. So
Yeah.
we're going to spend some time here talking about our thoughts and feelings on this batch of episodes. But of course, before we can do that, we have to put you guys in the loop. So, Austin, give us the breakdown. Give us the Batcave recap.
This is going to push me to my limits here. The total runtime for all of these episodes is like nearing 5 hours.
Take a nice gulp of water real quick. Do whatever you got to do.
I was gonna say, you know
some
what? That's
deep
not a bad
breaths.
idea. I'll take everybody here can admire my Avatar: The Last Airbender mug. It's great. On the
Beautiful.
inside, there's a great scene of the Southern Air Temple. It's a lovely
Oh.
mug, and I'm gonna take a sip.
Hey, do that. Get going. I'm going to take my dog for a walk, and I'll be back when you start wrapping up episode 3.
Yeah. 5 hours of show, so maybe like 45 minutes of Batcave recap. No, I tried to boil it down the best I could. So
No, you
let me get to it. We are going to be covering the episodes 1 through 4, as Jordan said. This is your Batcave recap for Stranger Things Season 5, Volume 1. Created, written, and directed by the Duffer Brothers, with episodes 3 and 4 also directed by Frank Darabont. Starring everybody.
Walking Deadhead. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but Frank Darabont, big Walking
Yep.
Deadhead. So,
Yep.
keep going.
Starring everybody that you know from Stranger Things. If you don't know who stars in Stranger Things by now, I don't know what to tell you. You know them. You know them. So, Volume 1 picks up 20 months after the end of 4 in a now military-occupied Hawkins. Episode 1, The Crawl, takes us back to Season 1 in 1983, showing a young Will Byers captured by a Demogorgon and delivering him to Vecna, proving that Vecna has been orchestrating everything from the shadows all along. In the present, we are acquainted with our party members as we find the Byers clan bunking with the Wheelers, Steve and Robin broadcasting at the Squawk, with Nancy managing the operation, Mike, Will, Lucas, and Dustin plotting revenge against Vecna, Hopper and Elle stepping up Elle's training regiment, Murray taking a book from Yuri's playbook as a smuggler, and Max is still comatose. We find Holly Wheeler is now experiencing visions in the form of Mr. Whatsit, who tells her he is there to save the children of Hawkins from the monsters at bay. Will experiences neck tingles again and finds himself experiencing visions via a psychic link to the Demogorgons. A routine scouting operation to locate Vecna in the Upside Down goes awry, and Hopper finds himself stranded in the Upside Down, which is now inhabited by the U.S. military under the control of Dr. K. In Episode 2, the vanishing of Holly Wheeler makes the stakes more personal. The Wheeler household is attacked by a Demogorgon, Karen and Ted are injured, and Holly is taken into the Upside Down. 11 immediately follows after her in a portal, while Will's visions intensify, giving him premonitions of where the supernatural threats are headed next. Will and Robin track ominous symbols in the woods, revealing a pattern to Vecna's plan, while the group learns that the villain has infiltrated the world in human guise, manipulating and luring children into danger. In Episode 3, The Turnbow Trap, the survivors begin fighting back. Will identifies Derek Turnbow as the next target, and the group devises a risky, morally ambiguous plan to protect him, setting up a booby-trapped house to lure the Demogorgon. Hopper and 11, still navigating the Upside Down, uncover more secrets of the military's operation, including a mysterious vault that Elle cannot psychically see into and a massive Game of Thrones-style wall of vines. The plan to protect Derek works in part, but the sense of looming danger grows. Vecna's reach expands, and our party is further split as Steve, Nancy, Dustin, and Jonathan find themselves trapped in the Upside Down as well. Oh, and Max is back. Kinda. She's stuck in Vecna's head. Episode 4, Sorcerer, brings the first volume of an epic midway point for the season. Demogorgons overrun a military installation, turning what was meant to be a rescue mission into chaos. Traps fail, Vecna returns, and the team faces overwhelming odds. It is here that Will fully manifests his connection to the Upside Down. In a shocking display, he channels the hive mind, controlling the Demogorgons and halting the attack. Suddenly, the traumatized boy of previous seasons transforms into who he was meant to be, a sorcerer and protector of his party. Meanwhile, Eleven and Hopper uncover the sinister secret behind the vault door. The return of Elle's long-lost sister, Kali, is being held captive and experimented on. Holly, Max, and the other children remained in danger, while Vecna is able to escape and recoup for the second half of this season coming to us in a month. And that has been your Batcave recap for Stranger Things Season 5, Volume 1.
Chills. Literal chills.
I don't know a single thing I just said.
You said it all. You said it all. That was really good.
It's let's do this. We are going to be breaking down this season the best way we can today. We have so much to talk about, and the way that we decided to go about this in the most effective and efficient way possible is we're going to start big picture, just kind of give some generic thoughts on the show. We're not going to worry with any spoiler-free thoughts. We've already issued the spoiler warning. We're going to get right down into it. We're getting into the weeds, as always, probably higher than ever today. We're talking like waist-high weeds. So we're going to work big picture, kind of set the scene of where our heads are at with this season so far, and then we're going to narrow it down and try to funnel into some more specific things. And the way that we're going to be doing that today is by focusing on characters. Stranger Things is a very character-driven show. The heart of this show is the character and the relationships. So we're going to be talking about each individual character, the main cast of characters we have here, to kind of shape our opinions of what we have in this season so far, and hopefully by the end of that, we will have a better idea of where our heads are at for Stranger Things Season 5, Volume 1. That sound right, Jordan?
Sounds right to me. It sounds right to me.
So let's start big picture here. I'll kick us off with just kind of a general pacing thought that I had for Season 5.
Before you get into that, I just want to know, because we haven't talked about this, like aside from like
not at all.
Two text messages. Did you like it?
I loved it.
Okay. Yeah, I really
loved
liked it. I really liked
it. I think that I, in general, might be higher on it than you are. I got the sense that you were kind of low on episode 1. Yeah. And then with each episode, it picked up for you, which I do not disagree with at all. I think that these episodes progressively get better.
Yeah.
But I could see where we would differ on episode 1. And I think a lot of that has to do with the pacing and like the dialogue. I think that the pacing here is hot and heavy. I mean, we are going right into the thick of things. Every single episode feels like it's the end of the world, because it basically is.
Yeah.
Season 4 left off with this huge cliffhanger, a giant gaping hole through the middle of Hawkins.
Well, folks, it's just me now, which means we can finally talk about it. Austin shaved his beard. I want to know how you guys felt.
Okay. Yes, you are right. I did shave my beard. Starting a new job soon, and I had to shave my beard.
It has to be discussed.
Yeah. No, you're right. I decided to. I don't start until next week, but I decided to go ahead and shave it to give myself some time to get used to it.
Do you have to be clean shaven for the job?
Mustaches are allowed.
Okay.
However, it was recommended that I go into it clean shaven. So that is
you got to earn the stash.
Indeed. Okay. So anyway, as I was saying, the pacing here is pedal to the metal from the get-go. We left off season 4 with a giant hole across Hawkins, which is now covered up by a metal Band-Aid. That's a very interesting approach to how they decided to fix that problem.
Yeah.
I would love to have seen that process. Crazy. But, I mean, we are going just 100 miles an hour so fast. Actually, M pointed this out to me, and she was like, it feels like everything is so dramatic and so important. And I agree 100%. But I think that this season is the Duffer Brothers are relying on the idea that if you're watching this season, you know exactly what has happened in Stranger Things up until this point.
Which is
And
an interesting gamble to make.
yes, but it's also season 5 of a TV show.
A season 5 of a TV show that started in 2016. So I think you're right in that if somebody's watching this season of TV, they very likely have seen the previous 4 seasons. But the question is when. So
That's a
I
good
think
point. It's
they're like
very fresh in my memory. So
that's true. You just did your rewatch. I think like you're probably in the minority as far as people who have done a full rewatch leading into
I
season
would say
5.
so. Yeah.
I think more people have probably rewatched season 4, done like a truncated rewatch. But
Yeah.
honestly, like I think there are probably going to be things that you picked up on in these episodes that like probably just went over my head or I didn't pick up
Yeah.
on because the references aren't as fresh. And like scrolling through social media on the Reddit pages and everything, there have been
Yeah.
posts about Easter eggs and things like that I didn't flag because I just didn't remember it. So
That's
I
fair.
think you're
Yeah,
right.
no. I think I definitely felt like my viewing experience was slightly elevated because everything was so fresh in my head. And I
Yeah.
don't blame anybody for not having watched 5 full seasons. I mean, or four full seasons. That's a lot of TV to watch. But what I guess what I'm saying here is just like, yeah, pacing's fast,
Yeah.
but I think you get used to it pretty quickly.
I I agree. And I think what makes it work as well as it does, at least for me, is how the first episode kind of opens with first you get the scene, the flashback scene of Will in 1983, during the events of Stranger Things season 1, and you get the reveal essentially that Vecna has been behind a lot of what's going on this show. Um, and it also tells us that we need to focus on Will because the relation, like Will as a character and the relationship between Will and Vecna is going to be central to this season. And we're obviously going to talk about that a lot going forward. Um, but I think that's important to kind of frame what we're looking at. And then the scene that follows is, I think, a very Stranger Things scene is the Wheeler breakfast table scene where you're reintroduced to not all the characters, but a lot of the main characters, and you're introduced to them in a non sci-fi setting where they're just getting ready for school, and you get like the classic stuff of Mike banging on the door to get into the bathroom, thinking that Nancy's in there, but it's actually Joyce, and poor old Ted Wheeler missing out on the breakfast bacon. Gotta love every time he huffs and puffs. But I think I appreciate that we got that kind of scene to open up the episode and open up the season because it does give us that little taste of, back when things were small and when it was just about these characters going about their day-to-day life and crazy things happened around that. And then I think where it didn't lose me at any point because I still like the first episode, but I think how breakneck the speed of like the way things were being revealed to us and the way information was being divulged, I appreciated getting to know what was going on, but at the same time, I didn't find myself as invested or immediately drawn into the season of TV as I think you might have been having everything so fresh in your mind. And I realize that I have been talking to a blank screen for the past 2 or 3 minutes, but I have a feeling, I hope and I believe that you have heard everything that I've said. Because if
I
not,
have.
I figured you would have.
I'm okay. So I guess let's move on from the pacing thing. So what I will say is that um, I think that you can really feel that it's been 3.5 years between seasons. It's
Yeah.
a little, and not just like in appearance. Was it me or like did things feel a little awkward between the cast in that first episode?
Yeah, a little bit. Like it felt like the first day back at school, like after a
Yeah,
very
that's a good
long
way to put
break,
it.
and people are trying to feel themselves out again, out a little bit more, and redefine like what their relationships are to each other at the same time that we're trying to like kind of suss out what the status quo of everything is. So there was
Yeah,
like the first half of that first episode or so after after that kind of intro scene, it was a lot of like, okay, who like how are these what's the dynamic between these two characters right now? Like what's going on between Mike and Elle? Like they're in different places. Are they still together? Like, and then we do get like the confirmation. I think they had a nice little rooftop scene together. But that's just like, there was that period of time where we're just trying to get back into the swing of things a little bit.
Yeah, you're right. It was like a little adjustment period. It was just like a little out of touch. And I mean, like, I guess if I was going to throw a broken batarang,
I'm
it
still
would
getting
kind
out
of
of the
just
way
be
early,
like
right?
at that like awkwardness that I felt. But as we've already mentioned, the episodes get progressively better. So I also felt like that faded away by like midway through episode 2.
And like that's exactly how I feel about it. And as I'm sitting here thinking about it, I think one of the big reasons for that is not just the pacing as far as like things starting to pick up with the plot, but I think especially in that first episode, there's a lot of self-seriousness and it's grim. Like obviously it's a grim situation. Like the Upside Down
Hmm.
is bleeding into the world. Like they're not having a good time. But as the episodes progress, you do kind of fall back into, that like the Stranger Things fun, like the goofiness, like the 80s like coming of age nature of it all. And like once you
Yeah.
get like the party like starting to formulate their plan with the turnbows or even like the crawl like at the end of the first episode. Like once you start getting those dynamics back in play and they're riffing with each other and there's like you get the easy flowing banter back and it's not just Will and Dustin and everybody else who's been, justifiably traumatized by everything that's happened to them when it's not just them being traumatized. I think the show benefits a lot.
Sorry to everybody for the technical difficulties here. So yeah, last thing I want to say, just big picture wise, is just like in terms of the release strategy for this show. I was thinking about this. Uh, it's a genius move what they did. They gave us 4 episodes. Episode 4, in my opinion, is one of the best episodes of Stranger Things that we've ever gotten, and they're now leaving us with a month to speculate
Mm-hmm.
and just theorize and talk about this. And in doing so, they're also getting at least 2 billing cycles out of everybody because
Yeah.
of how the release
Yep.
strategy works. Like if you reactivated your Netflix just for Stranger
You need
Things,
it for November and December. And
you're gonna get billed
yeah.
twice. I just they that's genius on their part. It sucks, but it's genius. Um, so yeah, I mean, that's kind of my big picture stuff. What else do you have to say, big picture wise, before we go into characters?
I think we'll get into it more when we start talking about the characters, but I really like how they set up the new status quo with everybody kind of working at the squawk, like the
The
older team
squawk is
working at the
awesome.
squawk. I mean, first of all, like Robin as the MC and Steve on the sound effect board, I think is
Yeah,
just comedic gold. I
yeah,
love that so much. I think like those are like from what we've seen in these 4 episodes so far, Joe Keery and Maya Hawke, I think, are the standout performers, and they are
for
getting
sure.
a lot to work with here. And
Actually, I'll give a counter argument to that later on.
oh, I appreciate that, and we'll get into it. We'll get into the weeds on that. But I just really like how everybody like you have the squawk as like a home base, and through like I mean the party is kind of spread all over Hawkins at this point, and they use the radio station and the broadcast from the radio station to communicate with each other. I thought that was really clever. And I mean, hey, listen, both Steve and Robin going from Scoops Ahoy to the video store now to the Squawk, like they're working class. They're
For
they're earning a
sure. Yeah.
paycheck. They're earning a
Yeah.
paycheck while they fight Demogorgons. So I
Oh
appreciate
yeah.
that.
Uh
I think that's kind of all I got big picture wise. I'm just really wondering what's going on with the Mind Flayer.
yeah, and I think that's something that we should kind of bring up later in the episode, like kind of like towards the end, like when we get to theories and stuff.
Yeah.
So you want to kind of break down some of our characters here?
Yes, I would love to.
I kind
I
of ordered them in the notes here, kind of almost sequentially on how they appeared in the episodes,
I think this makes sense.
just to kind of like work us through chronologically. I think we're gonna skip over Will till the very end for
Yeah,
obvious reasons,
yeah.
but I
We're
would like
gonna
to start
talk
with
about
Holly
him.
Wheeler.
Yeah. You want to start with Holly?
I do.
Yeah. I I think we should because I think Holly is like the the central character of this batch of episodes, for better and for worse, because she has become Vecna's latest target, and I mean she gets taken in the vanishing of Holly Wheeler, which
Yeah.
that was quite the sequence, and now she's kind of become a MacGuffin. And I think I've said it before. And I think this was probably something I heard on House of R or one of those other podcasts. But I think one of them said that a MacGuffin. Oh no, you know who it was? It was Damon Lindelof on House of R talking about how the best MacGuffin is a person instead of an object, because a person has like layers and dimensions to them where they can be the goal that everybody else is trying to reach while also having their own things going on. So I I like that, but I also wish that there was a little bit more time spent. It probably would have had to have been in season 4 or a previous season, developing the character of Holly Wheeler, because obviously she's recast here. I don't think the performer is doing a bad job in the role. I think she's fine. Like, it's a hit or miss kind of, but good enough for a child actor. But beside like what she's doing performance wise, there just isn't a lot of characterization that she gets outside of the like this the MacGuffin of it all with her. And so
Yeah.
we do end up getting some more like character moments of Holly in Vecna's mansion when she's playing her
His
music
like
and trying
mind
on
prison,
outfits. His
basically.
mind prison mansion. Um, and she's like kind of, this is when she's still living in blissful ignorance and just kind of vibing out and listening to music and trying clothes on and having a good time. And like that is something that I appreciate seeing. I wish I saw it earlier, but I'm glad that we're getting it to some extent.
Yeah, I will say Holly brings it back to like the original like feeling of Stranger Things. Like Stranger Things started with a, a kid getting abducted by a Demogorgon, and that's without that happening in this season, we're kind of like way down the line in terms of like where Stranger Things has come to. And you mentioned earlier in how like the Wheeler household sequence kind of brought us back down to earth with how Stranger Things feels in the beginning. I think Holly's presence here does that as well. It brings the stakes back to the simplest of stakes that Stranger Things has ever been, which is our friend, our family got abducted by this monster. Let's go save her. And so I really like what they did there. And even in like mirroring the episode title, we have the vanishing of Will Byers in season 1, and here we get the vanishing of Holly Wheeler. I really like that. I think that Holly is like really bringing in like a fun, creepy element with the Mr. What's It stuff. I really like the way that we have this creepiness talking to Henry and Mr. What's It, and we later learn that it's not just Holly, it's other kids in Hawkins, and I think that that's like a really fun, just eerie element to this season. Uh, Two things that I want to point out. One is, what's your take on Mike's conversation with Holly about
Yeah.
Holly? What was it? Holly the oh,
Holly the heroic.
thank you, Holly the heroic, and his explanation of what Holly the heroic can do in the Dungeons and Dragons universe. First of all, just a beautiful scene between a brother and
Yeah.
his little sister.
Yeah.
On that part, fantastic.
Yeah. Let's talk about that for a second, because
Yeah.
I at at the same time I loved this scene, and it also made me mad because I absolutely loved what we got from Mike, like reaching out to Holly, like basically initiating her into the party, giving her the Holly the heroic piece to have something by her side when she gets scared. Like that is just kind of getting back, like you said, to the core of what makes Stranger Things Stranger Things. It's family, it's friendship, and it's, finding courage in like a shared fantasy realm that they create together. So I absolutely love that. And I think we should lead this conversation into Mike. Um, because the other side of this conversation was Holly telling Mike about Mr. Whatsit and what was going on, and Mike just treating her like a little kid who was having nightmares. And that is really frustrating for me because
especially giving what Mike knows.
with like you got to take what she's saying at face value. And it's not like she hasn't been involved in like the upside down shenanigans to a certain extent over
No,
the
she's
course
seen
of
all
this
of it. She's seen
series.
all of it.
She's been there for that. So I don't understand how Mike can sit there and have that conversation with her after having all these conversations about Vecna and like trying to find Vecna and just treat it like, oh, here's something that you can hold when you're having nightmares.
So
So
your interpretation, just to clarify, is that Mike did not believe her, not that Mike was just trying to protect her from knowing the truth?
I think if there was any inkling in Mike that that might have been true, then there would have been some stronger steps taken to protect her.
Okay.
Because I mean, this conversation happens, and I think it might have been that night when the Demogorgons come to the house, right? Like, so
Yeah, and him and Nancy have that good conversation in the
yeah,
hospital
like we
about
should
like
have
we
done
should have
more.
done more.
Yeah,
We should have protected them. We should have told them. We've known about this all along, and we did nothing to try to like put them out of danger's
yeah.
way.
So I definitely think that it was just Mike being like making a stupid decision, like to not
Okay.
believe her, and I like that. I think is tough.
Yeah.
I'm able to get past it because I think what happens around it is good, but that feels to me like a character making a decision or not picking up on something that they like their as their character has been written and portrayed to this point. Like he should have he should have believed her, and he didn't
Yeah.
because they needed to get kind of like to the next plot point. Um,
That's a good point.
so it's tough because like I said, I absolutely love the other side of the conversation. So like
It's awesome.
it's equal parts like bat signal spotlight and broken battering, which I don't know if I've had before.
Fair. I do want to ask you, is your interpretation that Holly's going to end up with some type of powers? She's the cleric?
Dude, I mean, as Mike is telling her about Holly the Heroic's powers, I think one of them was the ability to open portals. I would be willing to wager that Holly opens a portal.
That seems like some major foreshadowing right there.
Oh yeah. That's Chekhov's portal.
My my last comment about Holly, just we got to talk about it. She is too old to be playing a 9-year-old.
Dude. Yes.
She's supposed to be 9.
Did I have Holly as
You did have Holly.
biggest
I want to
biggest
do
glow up?
I want to do a check-in on our boards
I
at
feel
the end of
pretty
the
good
episode.
about mine. I feel pretty
I
good
feel
about
pretty good
mine.
about mine, to be fair too. But no, the actress, and I don't know her name off the top of my head, but the actress who plays Holly in this
Oh,
season,
please.
she's a 13-year-old in real life, and she's supposed to be playing a 9-year-old. And
Played by
it just,
Nell Fisher.
thank you. And it just doesn't add up. I mean, she looks way too old to be playing a 9-year-old. Also, saying if she's 9 in this season, that would make her 5. Like
When she was a baby.
6 when she listen, I have a toddler. Holly in season 1 of Stranger Things was a little bit older than my daughter, but like not that much older. So the math isn't math in here. That's all I'm saying. But I'm not going to get held up on that.
This is
Do
just
you
a
have
choice
anything
we
else
have
to say
to
about
make.
Holly?
No, I just think this is a choice we have to make as fans of the show to suspend our disbelief to a pretty significant extent when it comes to the ages of these actors, because it's a problem over like for the entire cast, really. And you just have to kind of compartmentalize that a little bit, but I completely agree.
So
Do you want to? I think we should, because I just kind of partially crapped on Mike a little bit. I want to bring that back around.
yeah, go ahead.
Um, Aside from that scene, I really, really, really love what we're getting from Mike so far this season. I think this is the strongest
I
Mike
100% agree.
batch of episodes that we've gotten since season one.
Yeah,
Um, because like they're finally leaning back into Mike as like the leader of the party. Um, and he's acting more mature, and like you get the sequence in episode 4 of Mike leading the group of kids trying to lead them to safety, and that was, aside from the Mike of it all, like what an incredible shot that was of
oh, it was so
tracking
good.
Mike and the kids through that absolute battlefield between the Demogorgons and the soldiers. Like that was awesome.
Yeah, it
But
was
like,
really good.
but what makes it work so well is that it's grounded in character, and that it's Mike stepping up to the plate and trying to protect this, this other party, basically,
Hmm.
these kids. And it's like that kind of, I think, is Mike's role at its best. Is he is somebody that can step up in that moment and deliver the battle plans and be like, get behind me, I'm going to lead you guys to safety. And I was really here for that.
He's taken a step up in this season in pretty much every role that he fits into throughout Stranger Things so far. He's a better friend. He is a better brother. He's a better
Yes.
boyfriend,
Yes.
and he is a better dungeon master. I mean,
Yes.
those are his like 4 main roles that I see him in, and I think that he is much better in all of those roles. He's more empathetic. He's more understanding. He's more of a leader. I think that every chance Mike has gotten this season to be better in one of those roles, he has done so.
Yeah.
He's really stepped up in my eyes. I mean, he is this season so far one of my favorite characters, and I can't say that is the case for previous seasons. At some seasons, he's been downright annoying.
I actually like actively disliked him in season 4.
Yeah. And season 3, he's pretty annoying and
Yeah.
and problematic as well. But I mean, listen, whatever they decided to do in that writing room to give him this turnaround, it's greatly appreciated because we have this like great dichotomy of Wheeler leaders between Mike and Nancy.
Yeah.
I think Mike is doing a really good job of also kind of stepping into the shoes of Nancy. And whereas we have Mike, who kind of was the leader of the party to begin with when this was so small scale, we get the evolution through the series of Nancy as, I mean, without Nancy, things don't happen.
Yeah.
She is the station manager, and that's a title metaphorically and literally. I mean, she is the brains of the operation. And I think that Mike is doing a really good job of almost like learning from her. You get this great scene where they're planning the crawl, and you have like the point of view both from Mike in the party and then Nancy in the squawk.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
see both Mike and Nancy filling in those leader roles there. And I really like that, how they were comparing those two. Also, side note, Finn Wolfhard and Natalia Dyer look strikingly similar. Just saying.
Their similarities, I think, have like grown over the course of the show.
Yeah, they got sharp features.
So I think my wild card prediction was that Mike would get buffed this season.
Emotionally.
I was gonna say I'm willing to concede that he hasn't bulked physically, but it's maturity bulking season for Mike. Like he's bulking up emotionally and spiritually and maturity wise. So
I tell you what, if no other predictions come true, we'll talk about it.
all that to say, I really like what we're getting from Mike, and like the Mike Nancy dynamic I appreciate, because again, it's like I feel like a lot of times when you get a brother sister dynamic, and they've had it over the course of the show where it's like primarily antagonistic, like now we're getting them on the same page, which I think is cool.
Yeah. And a little bit more about Nancy, I guess, moving on to kind of like the
Yeah.
next character here. I just want to touch on Nancy a little bit because she doesn't get like a ton to work with here so far. But as
Yeah.
I mentioned, like everything falls apart without her. She's like panning out these crawls incrementally and searching for Vecna, and it's like super cool. Like just watching how like Nancy has unfolded these plans. Also, just like super cool using the tunnels as a method of transportation from
Yeah.
season 2. That's so cool, and I think that was Nancy's idea. Not said anywhere, but I just know it was. I'm really liking this like relationship that she's building with Jonathan and Steve, and just being like over their measuring contest. She's just like so over it,
Yep.
and that's like a lot of fun. And
The quote from Robin where they're racing up the radio tower and she's like, "What is it about you that just turns these men into Neanderthals when they're around you?"
Yep, yeah, like super fun. I really enjoyed that aspect of it, and just how like Steve and Jonathan are being buffoons, just competing over Nancy, and Nancy's just like, I could not care less.
No, yeah, she's very results and goal oriented. And she, yeah, I agree. I liked where I think it was when they're in the car and they're trying to decide whether or not they're going to make the plunge into the upside down.
Yeah,
And it was Steve's idea initially. And then, Nancy ends up agreeing with him. And then after they make it happen, Jonathan is going off on Steve for doing it. And she's like, well, no, it wasn't just his decision.
right.
And Jonathan at that point had nothing else to say because,
Yep, kind of got shut down there.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about Nancy or the Wheelers in general?
I thought the acting that we got from Natalia Dyer when Nancy discovers her mom and comes into the house after the Demogorgon attack was
Great
very
scene.
intense, very emotionally moving.
Which we should just take a minute to mention. Karen, one
Yes.
heck of a
Oh my God.
great scene from
Went
Karen
out like a
Wheeler there.
boss. And
I mean,
Not
wine
out,
bottle
but-
smashed, just cut. We got to talk about the power scaling of the Demogorgons
What's
a little
going on?
bit because they
Vecna is not sending his best.
the Demogorgon almost dies from a couple slashes from a broken wine bottle, but also is able to manage heavy fire from heavy artillery guns. It doesn't make sense. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I like when Elle was like, yeah, Miss Wheeler stabbed it with her wine.
And Hopper was just like,
Oh,
yeah, okay.
okay.
Okay. But no, great scene. I really love just like the emotional, like Karen Wheeler has just kind of like given up in life, and she has just taken the role of, drunk housewife, and then, oh, here's this Demogorgon coming to take her youngest daughter, and she smashes, stands in front of Holly, and just, not my daughter,
Yep.
you. And it just, I mean, chills. It was a great scene. It was a really great scene.
And that's that mama super strength. So
Absolutely.
nice to see that. And I thought it was really cool the way that she was able to make a stand. And I mean, even like, it seems like she's going to survive. I mean, she is surviving. She's recovering in the hospital and able to write after having her throat slashed. Like, she's trucking on.
I mean, granted, needed for plot purposes. I am of the opinion that one of the Wheelers should have died. I guess, like, we don't know if Ted is going to make it or not, but I do think that would have upped the stakes.
Yeah. I think, I mean, I thought that he was dead. I mean, you see
I did too.
some real ribbons of blood splash out of him.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah.
Poor Ted. Didn't get any bacon, and also just got
His neck turned into bacon.
murked by a Demogorgon.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Wheeler household, you want to move on to the buyers here?
Yeah, let's talk clan buyers real quick.
Let's start with Joyce. I have the least amount to say about Joyce right now.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Winona Ryder gets a little bit more to do in the back half of the season, because in this batch of episodes, she is kind of just like a cheerleader for Hopper and Elle.
And she's reverted kind of back to the protective mom over Will, which has always been her shtick, which she's suffered a lot of trauma with her son, but that's always been her bit, and now it's just continued. with her also being pushed to the background a little bit more.
Yeah, I my favorite stuff that we got, I think, from Joyce in these 4 episodes were her back and forths with Robin, which is going to
The
be a through line because
flux
like every
capacitor
yeah,
joke was
that
so
was good.
good.
That was
That was
really good.
so good.
I mean, anytime Robin's in a scene, it elevates it. So that's no
Yeah.
surprise.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I'm hoping that Joyce gets a little bit more to do. I'm glad that she kind of has, at least it seems like, had this realization that she can't continue to protect Will.
Yeah.
And
That
hopefully
scene
now she
between the
kind
two of
of,
them is that's an emotional conversation.
yeah,
I mean, that's got to be a tough conversation to have with your kid.
yeah, definitely. And I think I'm hoping that like now in this second half of the season, she is kind of elevated a little bit more, given a little bit more to do, maybe more of like a support role for Will as he is leveling up and tapping deeper into the hive mind.
I would hope so. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially given, now that she's realized that Will has reached his
He
full
evolved.
potential and accepted it himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, not much to work with out of her so far. I do kind of enjoy though, like the role that she's taking of being the hypocrite, basically telling Hop to kind of back off of Elle when
Yeah.
she's also bubble wrapping Will. So that's some fun play there. But also Hopper doesn't get a ton of like emotional work so far. But we'll get into him in a minute here.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Jonathan here for a second. Uh, I think
Please.
Jonathan has the least amount to do in the season so far.
Yeah. I mean, he's still just kind of the same Jonathan from last season of being stuck in the mud,
He's,
competing with
dare I
Steve
say,
for Nancy.
annoying.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
You're right. His entire thing right now is competing for Steve, or competing for Steve.
I mean, listen, who among us?
Listen, Steve the Hair Harrington. But he's competing with Steve for Nancy's affection, and that's kind of all we're getting out of him. I think two things here. One, the whole proposal angle
Horrible.
that they're taking,
Horrible idea.
awful, awful.
Murray, you should not have given him a ring.
And please, I truly think this of Nancy, but I think if that happens, I do think she will say no. But let's
She
not
has to.
have that happen. Let's not have that happen. I'll say this much about Jonathan. If they decide to sideline the conversation that we got between Will and Jonathan in season 4, where Jonathan is basically like, Will, like,
I
I'm
know
your
who you
brother,
are.
I'm your
Yeah.
best friend, I know you are, I am always here for you. If they decide to sideline that conversation and have nothing come out of that, that will be a major check against this show. That would be a huge disservice to the character of Jonathan.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I think for whatever reason they're saving that for this next batch of episodes where
I would hope
Will
so.
kind of where his self-reckoning is shared with the group as a whole.
I would hope so.
But I agree. That's at this point that's all I really care about as far as Jonathan goes.
Yeah, and that's all that we're given to care about, to be fair.
Yeah, the Nancy stuff is honestly just kind of played for jokes. So
Yeah. We
yeah.
do have a couple other Squawk members to talk about here, though. Do you want to talk about Rock and Robin or Steve Harrington first?
Oh my gosh, where do we start? I mean, I already said it. I think these are our two MVPs of the season so far.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm not going to disagree with you, but I have another one to throw in the mix.
there's definitely arguments that can be made, but let's start with Rock and Robin.
I like that.
Maya Hawke is so good.
She's
so funny,
funny, man. She's so funny.
but she's able to kind of flip that switch into doing something a little bit more earnest and sincere
Yeah.
in the blink of an eye. And she's given a lot of opportunities to do that in these 4 episodes. I really like the Will Robin character pairing. I think that's my favorite character pairing of this season so far. Is
I would say next to Dustin and Steve in like season 2 and 3, probably the best of the show.
it's definitely up there. Because Robin essentially gets to be Will's gay mom and guide him on the path to accepting himself. And she's able to do that while also like I think she's already kind of gone on that journey of self-acceptance for herself, but
Oh
it's
yeah, well, and
also
now she's with Vicky, and which
yeah,
shout out
exactly. But
Robin,
she's
she's got
still
game.
oh yeah, absolutely. But she is still like in the 80s, like she is still nervous about that. Like she
Oh, for sure.
can't let people know about it. But I think so. She's had that journey for herself of self acceptance. But I think for her being able to kind of pass that on to Will and express that to somebody else, I think and I hope that that will kind of be another step on her journey to eventually coming out to the party,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
which I don't think she has to the party as a whole. I think
I'm under that
Steve
impression as well.
knows. Yeah, I think Steve knows. I don't know about Nancy or any of the others, but I mean,
Doesn't seem that way, right?
I don't think so. I mean, there hasn't been anything explicit about it. It also hasn't. There hasn't really been too much of an opportunity for it, but I don't know. Um, what else? What else do we get from Robin here? I mean,
So what I'll say about Robin, I want to throw this in there just
yeah.
because you said like she's just so good with whatever she's given. What I think is a great example of that is like when we're first introduced to Robin in this season, it's through an expo dump.
Oh
The
yeah, yeah,
the squawk radio broadcast, and the fact that that was an expo dump, that's what it was. It was fully an
100%.
exposition dump, and it worked so well. It was so good.
Yep.
Just like the way the monologue she had there, just to get us up to date with how things have evolved at Hawkins. We're in the military occupation zone. We got the Maxi.
The Big
There's
Mac. That
yeah, the Big Mac. I mean,
was good.
it is just getting us up to date on what has happened in Hawkins over the last 20 months, and also to fill us in and just like hey, if in case you guys forgot, over the last 3.5 years, here's what's going on in Stranger Things, and it worked. Like expo dumps like that shouldn't work, but it does. It
Yeah.
does beautifully, and I think that's because of Maya Hawk and the
I don't
way
think
that she
there's
just has.
another character that could have done it.
Oh, no, 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 no. She has the gift of gab.
Yeah, that's for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm really. I are you concerned for her going forward? Are you
So that's a
concerned for
good
her well-being?
question. To be honest with you, no, I'm not.
Me
And
either.
yeah, okay, I was gonna say if you were, I'd be very curious as to why. Um, I do want to just touch back on. No, I think she's gonna make it out of this. I think that there's no reason to believe that she would be in any position of like immediate danger based on like what we've seen so far. Um, what I do want to touch on, you've already mentioned, is her dynamic with Will,
Mm-hmm.
and just we get that speech in the tunnel
Yep.
of episode 3, I want to say episode 3 or 4,
I think it was 4.
and yeah, of her, basically she sees Will talking to Mike outside before they go on the mission, which I want to talk to you about that scene specifically. We'll do that in a minute when we get to a different character, but she sees that scene, and she's realizing what needs to be said to Will, and she does so. And the speech that she gives him is then played back at the end of episode 4 as Will is coming into his potential, his powers, accepting himself, and that playback of like Will acknowledging what needs to be done and stepping into that role with Robin playing the speech behind it and the flashbacks of Will's life playing as well.
Yeah.
It was really good stuff, man. Like that was a powerful sequence.
Yep. And I think the upside down as a concept is really in a lot of ways like a metaphor for mental illness, like mental health, and things like that. And I think
Potentially the wall could have something to do with that.
it certainly
Like
could.
mental blocks.
Yeah.
Some okay, sorry.
No,
Tangent.
yeah. And I think like and we'll talk about this more with Will, but I think that Robin coming from a place where of like relative self-acceptance, being
Yeah.
able to share that with Will
Yeah.
gave him the light and like the ammo that he needed to tap into the upside down in the way that he did
Yeah.
and essentially overcome it. as he is also overcoming his own self-doubt and all those other feelings that he's having about himself. And so I just think that Robin is like really well positioned as a character in the show to deliver the exposition, to be the comedic relief, and then to also, you know, come in and drop these truth bombs when they're most needed.
Yeah, she's by far. I mean, she's been a standout since she appeared in season 3, and she just continues to do so. Great stuff from her. But I think we should also talk about her. Well, I mean, I want to say other half because up until now it has been
Yeah,
Steve, but now it's moving on to Will. But let's talk about Steve the Hare Harrington, shall we?
let's. Where do you want to
Uh,
start?
So I'll start here. I'll start on a negative note, and not necessarily negative from the character perspective, but just like Steve himself is in a much more negative space this season than what
Yes,
we've seen him.
yeah. I
He's
have in my
so
notes here. He's not the
jaded.
same. He's not the
He's
same
jaded.
happy-go-lucky Steve. Yeah,
No, he's not that charming Steve. He's very pessimistic. He's got this ongoing feud with Jonathan. His relationship with Dustin is so strained and it like actually hurts
yeah,
to watch. I mean,
yeah.
he's in such a jaded place compared to what we've seen him before. But I'm curious because you said that he's by far one of the standouts for you so far. So what is it about Steve as a character in this season that is really working for you that stands out above the rest?
I think it's a lot of those things. I think it is the fact that he
Like the
is in a
turn?
darker place. Yeah. And like the three big things that I have, like the takeaways that I got from Steve here was the drama with Dustin. Um, it's the toxic masculinity and the competition with Jonathan for Nancy, and it's just generally the fact that he is like he's not the same happy-go-lucky Steve. He's seen a lot, and he's the one who's like, are we like, why are we still going on these crawls? We've been doing it. We've done like 30 some crawls and haven't found anything. Is this really the best use of our time? He is fed up with how Dustin's treating him, which we're gonna have to spend some time talking about where Dustin's at because I am worried about him, as I think Steve is as well. Um, but I mean, yeah, he's stuck in this. He's stuck in Hawkins. I don't know if he would. I think he would probably still be there even if they weren't being quarantined. But I think he probably feels trapped there to a certain extent, especially having to spend every day watching Jonathan and Nancy be together. Um, I mean, he had that conversation with Robin about how like he's still trying to go out and spit game, and that almost feels like a regression of character for him a little bit
I
to
get
be
that.
focused on trying to pull chicks. Um, so I just think there's a lot of runway for him as a character in these last few episodes here, to kind of come to terms with Dustin. I have no idea how the Jonathan Nancy Steve love triangle is gonna resolve. Um, which
I have
but it's gonna
opinions on how I think it should, but
oh yeah, me too.
yeah.
But I don't know if that's gonna happen. But it feels like there's a lot of runway for the Steve character here. And I think the stuff that we get from him is funny. Like I was laughing at a lot of the Steve scenes, the banter with Jonathan racing up the
Yeah.
radio
Yeah.
tower, even like the darker banter between him and Dustin. I'm concerned about it, but it was also pretty funny. And I
Yeah,
think
I'm very worried about it, and I want to talk about that more when we talk about Dustin.
yeah,
I would just like to point out, just saying, I've been a Stever since season 1. I think that there's a lot to like about Steve in season 1. There's a lot not to like about him, but there's also a lot to like about him.
yeah, you went to
And
bat for him.
I would just like to say that Steve technically won the radio tower climb. Jonathan got a head start, and they tied
Yeah.
at the top. So just saying, if that is foreshadowing, I don't know. But
You heard it here
before,
first, folks. Jonathan's dying in the upside down.
hey, I did pick Jonathan as most impactful death. So
Huh? All right.
before we move on to Dustin, just one more character that kind of fits in with the Squawk Gang. I want to
Yep.
breeze over Murray. I freaking love Murray.
He's so good.
He's so
this
funny.
This show needs him so much.
You're so right.
Not just for plot reasons, but for vibes. Like
Yeah.
when Murray first showed up in episode 1, like that was a ray of sunshine that broke through the dark clouds that was this opening episode. And it's just every time he shows up, he is just he's bantering. He is like his same Murray bubbly self and
Yeah.
kind of injecting that levity into what has overall been like a pretty dark season so far.
And he does it like a really good job of bringing that like like kind of like plucky sarcastic energy, but also being like really snippy and crass, like
Yep.
when Dustin is kind of ripping at Murray for not bringing him his entire list of things that he requested.
Put him in
And
his place.
Dustin was like, this isn't a Christmas list, Murray. And Murray goes, yes it is. Do you know how hard it is to get all of this stuff? Consider yourself lucky. I got this. Now shut up and go do something with it. And Justin was like, yeah,
Oh,
okay. Like
touche.
I love that side of Murray because also Murray hates children. That's like something that
People
we know.
forget.
Murray hates children. It's so funny. I love him so much. I don't have that much to say about him. But I just the show needs Murray, like you said.
Yeah, yeah. Every time he shows up, every time he rolls up into the up to the squawk, I'm like, all right, we're in for a good scene here.
Do you want to move on to Dustin?
Let's talk about Dusty.
Man,
I'm worried.
I got some concern. I got a lot of concerns for Dustin. He is going through it.
Yeah. Before we get into Dustin, I want to say briefly, I feel like Mike, Lucas, and Will should have their antennas up a little bit more for why Dustin is in the place that he's in right now.
Yeah,
Like,
especially Mike.
yeah, like Dustin was closer with Eddie than I think any of the other party members were. And obviously, that death has just like really messed him up.
I think
And
Dustin has always kind of been, even in the party, more
the
of
outsider.
he's been an outsider to the. He's like a different level smart. You know what I mean?
Yes.
He went away to camp that summer. He's always
Yes.
been kind of on the outside of the party. So I think, yeah, like you're saying, he connected with Eddie a little bit stronger, and he's like weighed down by that sense of responsibility that Eddie gave him upon his deathbed.
Yeah, and Eddie was like one of the first people to ever tell him like, "Nah, dude, you're
Don't change.
cool the way you
Never
are."
change, Henderson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so to lose that, like obviously that's gonna wreck him. And I just think that the fellas need to have a little bit more consideration for that and how they're interacting with him.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm with you. I'm with you.
but okay, let's talk about Dustin. Um,
Or should we call him Eddie Munson 2.0? I mean, he's rocking the long hair.
he's
He's
got the
got the
hair,
Hellfire
he's
shirt,
got the shirt, he's got the rings
the
on,
rings. He's
he's
rocking the
got
look.
a pretty dope duster.
Uh,
Um,
Neither of us nor M picked Gaten Matazzaro for biggest glow up, but one of us should because I gotta say, he's looking old in this series.
Yeah.
He's looking old.
yeah, and he's acting old.
You're right.
I mean, I mean, I'm worried about his well-being.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's on he like a journey of like masochism right now. He is
Yeah.
really looking just for. Uh, he's putting himself in situations that he knows is going to harm him.
And
It's
you
really
know-
sad and it's really concerning.
You know that if he gets a chance to take a shot at Vecna, he's gonna take it. And like his own well-being be darned. So
Yeah.
we need the rest of the party to kind of step up their Dustin watch a little bit because he's kind of, as far as the Deadpool goes, if we want to talk
He's up
about
there.
people we might lose, that would be crazy. I don't know if you can kill Dustin. But,
I think there would be riots in the streets, but it's looking like the probability of that is higher than some other characters right now.
it's either that or they're setting it up for like a big come to Jesus moment with Dustin and the rest of the party where I could see Gaten getting a space to kind of clear out for a really emotional scene.
Yeah, I could get that too. It's you're right. It's gonna end in one of two ways. Either his party needs to step up and bring him out of the hole that he's in, or he's gonna dive in all the way, and that's gonna result in us probably losing Dustin. And that's not a reality that I want to come to terms with. So I hope
No.
it's the former.
I'm just sitting here thinking about it, and I don't know if we should talk about it now, but I want to talk about it now because I was thinking about how Dustin attempted to blind the jocks with paint thinner. And
First of all, awesome setup where he was just like, huh, I rolled a 8 in Eddie's last campaign. That was a what was it? It was like a rolled the potion, purple, blinds people.
Blindness. Yep.
It was awesome.
Yep. It got me to thinking about how many crimes the party is committing so far this season.
It's up there.
Let,
It's up there.
we'll put a tab on that because I want to come back and talk about some of the other crimes that they've committed.
Probably state, local, definitely federal. I mean,
They got some
it's up
felonies. They got some
Yeah,
felonies
it's
on
up
them.
It's up there.
Okay, but you got anything else on Dustin?
No, I think the biggest thing to talk about with Dustin was just like he's in the darkest place of the season so far.
Darkest
And
place of his arc as a character, I think, over the course of this show.
yeah. No, I'm ready to move on to the last party member before we talk about Will at the end here. I want to talk about Lucas a little bit.
Lucas, for me, has kind of become the heart of the show.
Dude, I really like Lucas in this season.
I think, first of all, I think Caleb McLaughlin is doing a fantastic job. I think he's up there with the best performers on the show right now.
Yeah, he's killing it.
The scene with him at Max's hospital bed, pleading for her to come back, telling her like I think this is all coming to a head, and I know we're gonna need the full party. Like, Max, please, I need you. We need you. That, I thought, like, I'm just like thinking about that is giving me chills right now. And then seeing it from Max's perspective later on was just like another punch to the gut, because seeing it from her perspective was brutal too.
Yeah, it was like another running up that hill moment almost.
Exactly.
And, I mean, literally, they were playing the song again. I mean,
yeah, but no, I think we're getting a lot of really good stuff from Lucas this season. I like how he has kind of used his come up in popularity not to abandon the party, but to strengthen his bonds with them and to elevate them and protect them.
dude,
The way, like, his intro,
scene,
dude, he strutted down the hallway like
so
Mr.
good.
T. Like Mr.
It was
T.
so good. You just get the shot of him from the back, and he's like, "Hey,
Jacked.
yeah, dude, yeah." First of all,
Mike didn't get jacked. Lucas did.
No, Lucas got jacked, and he's just like, "You want to mess with him? You're gonna have to mess with me." And then you get the other party members closing in on him too. Great intro scene.
That was really good. Feel bad for his hairline. They got him messed up. They couldn't have given him a quick lineup.
Nah, so apparently this is a wig this season.
Oh,
and
yeah, it absolutely is.
They should have done a little bit better wig work, because that's definitely fixable. I'll say this for Lucas. He is like finally getting with the program and fully on board and like embracing his role within the party. And that's kind of like the first time that I felt that way about Lucas, because in season 1, he was very against Elle coming into the mix. In season 2, he broke the norm by bringing Max into the mix, which ultimately, obviously, is a great thing. But at the time, it was a conflict amongst the party members, having Max as a new character in their party. In season 3, the relationships struggled because Mike and Lucas were kind of at a different place of maturity and in their experience in girls and all that stuff than Dustin and Will. And then in season 4, he was straight up an antagonist for a part of that season. So here in season 5, he is just part of the machine. He's a cog in the machine. He knows his role. He is there for everybody. He's being a great friend. He is being a great companion for Max in the hospital. He's being a great team member, and he's got some really funny moments. The scene where he's chewing gum and he's like, "I'm a sniper. They chew gum," and and Mike's like, "You're not a sniper," and he just ignores that. I thought that was hilarious. They make some really good jokes in the tunnel. Some phallic jokes in the tunnel, which I mean, some people might think is stupid, but as a teenage boy, you think that's hilarious. So I got a kick out of that.
I also loved the scene in the Turnbow house where they're home aloneing the Demogorgon, and Mike has like the spiky shovel bat, and he's
Yeah.
bashing the Demogorgon with it, and Lucas is just standing there like, "Get it, Mike! Kill it! Kill it! Kill it!"
Yeah, yeah. But also
That was
just
so
like
good.
I love that scene too because like it really utilizes the fact that like we know that like Lucas is the athletic one of the bunch.
Yep.
He's the one like he's like, okay, I'm the one that has got to go be bait for the Demogorgon and
Yep.
jump over the pit because I'm the only one that's going to survive that. You know, like I love the role that he's playing. He understands his role and he's doing such a good job doing it.
I completely agree. I am really looking forward to Will coming out to Lucas. I think that'll be a beautiful moment.
Oh yeah, I think that'll be really nice.
I mean, I think him coming out to the whole party, I think will be really beautiful. But I just think that there is like a level of empathy within Lucas that
yeah.
is gonna be something to tap into there.
Yeah, no, you're right. And also just like a sense of kind of like acceptance and like marginalized people within the show. Like they haven't like it hasn't been like super touched upon in the show, but in season 3 and season 2 we deal with a little bit of like the racism
Yeah.
involved in Hawkins and especially through the character of Billy. And so, kind of connecting on that level I think could be nice. And like you said, Lucas is just like such a empathetic character. It's going to be lovely. Maybe a character that's slightly less empathetic than Lucas would be good old Jim Hopper.
Oh, Hop.
What do you got to say about Jim Hopper, aka the Red Guardian? Because David Harbour's full on Red Guardian mode in this show.
Maddie and I were both like, why is he talking with a Russian accent?
He's got the beard. He's got a slight accent. Listen.
He spent a lot of time in that Russian prison, I guess, but not really.
No, not really. All I know is that the filming schedules must have crossed over because that is the Red Guardian beard.
That's 100% Alexi. Yeah. Didn't really vibe with Hopper in these episodes.
Dude, I'm with you. Like on a emotional level, didn't really connect.
It was like very kind of one note of no L, I need to protect you. No L, don't be a stupid ass. Whatever it was that he said. Like
it was don't be a stubborn ooh. Yeah, no.
Yeah, exactly. But he like it feels I really thought that I was going to get to check the sacrifice play off my list at the end of episode 4 there, which
you could make an argument if nobody else dies from a sacrifice. We'll talk about it.
That is the sacrifice play. Because he was prepared for it. But I just don't think there's really much left for him to do. And also, like, David Harbour's performance, I feel like, is a step down from what we've gotten before, too. Which is, it's tough for me to say, because I generally really enjoy David Harbour as an actor.
Well, and like we've already mentioned, I mean, he was clearly tied up in Red Guardian filming stuff for Red Guardian.
Really deep in the method acting with that.
Yeah, but I'm with you. I mean, there's not like a ton of emotionally to work with here. It does feel like a little one-dimensional. That being said, the dude is, I mean, he's a presence, like he's just he's a badass. Like, he is like the way that he gears up. First of all, did you clock that they're all calling him Chief? It's just Chief.
I think I heard Lucas call him Chief, but I didn't know that everybody was.
I think I heard it like once or twice more. Like people are calling him Chief, and I'm like, that's cool.
I like that.
But like the way he's like gearing up to go into the Upside Down, he's got his artillery, he's got the vest on. Like he is ready for this mission. Of course, he's the one that they're sending. Of course he is.
He's the '80s action hero.
Yeah,
he's the John McClane.
Yeah.
And you do get some cool stuff with that. Like I'm always going to be down for like some Upside Down action.
And I mean, you get like some good-ish stuff with him and Elle in the Upside Down, I would say.
Yeah.
Like,
him telling her about his daughter.
Yeah. And also like him allowing Elle to, Elle has this bit where she's like, she wants to time the thunder with her jumping, and she explains the plan, and Hopper's like, shoot, that's actually a pretty good plan.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll let you do it, and begrudgingly, but some of that stuff is good. What I thought was really good too was when he goes in to the vault And as you said, he was going to make the sacrifice play. He was going to blow himself up to blow up what's in the vault. And then the door reopens, and you just see the look on Hop's face before Elle figures out that Kali is on the inside. And just like the look that Hop gives her, he's like, "You're not going to believe
Yeah,
what
that
I
was
just
good.
saw."
That was
That was
that
good.
was a
That
good
was
look.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he goes from here.
You're right, especially since he was ready to give it all up.
Yeah, I think that's probably where they want us to be with him, like because they really were setting it up for that sacrifice play, and then
Yeah.
not yet. So,
I don't foresee him leaving the Upside Down anytime soon, which is weird.
do you think he'll get a last goodbye with Joyce?
Yeah.
Probably. I think probably by the finale. I think the finale will probably involve the Upside Down like taking over the real world for real. And
Yeah. No, I'm
everybody
not
will
saying
kind
that
of be
he's
reunited
not
there.
going to get out.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think he's there for a little while. I think
At
everybody
least
down there
another
right
episode
now.
or two.
Everybody down there right now is down there for a little while.
I would say like maybe up until like up it through like episode 7 I could see. Like
Yeah.
maybe like coming out of it in episode 7, but um yeah, not much else to say about Hop, but somebody else that is down there with him is 11. You want to talk about 11 for a minute?
Yeah, I'm a little higher on 11 than I am Hopper, but also another character that I feel like has kind of become pretty one note. Um, the flip side of the Hopper, no, I have to protect you coin is the L, let me do things side of the coin.
Let me soar. Let me spread
Yeah,
my.
which I think like it makes sense. But L has never been at the top of my list of like most compelling characters on Stranger Things, which is interesting
No.
because she is like the
Well,
focal point.
let's
Except,
let's just say yes and no,
yeah,
because we are reminded from the get-go in this season that hey, we know that like L's
yeah, this is Will.
this your main character's Will. Like
Yeah,
that's the main character, and it has been since day one. So let's not
that's a very
forget
good
that.
point. Yeah,
But no, I'm with you with L. I do like the fact that she's like, I mean, she's full on superhero mode now, which is cool.
she was doing her training circuit to open things up.
Yeah, 1229 on that course, pretty dang good if you ask me.
Pretty solid. I don't really have that much to say about L, honestly. Like,
I really liked this goes with her being full superhero mode. I really liked how she just like the scene where Nancy goes in and sees her parents on the floor, assumingly dead, and Elle comes in and Nancy just goes, "She has Holly, go." And
yeah,
no questions asked, Elle,
yeah,
I'm in the Upside Down. I mean, I am going after Holly, which is funny because like she doesn't really have many interactions with Holly,
if any,
but
yeah,
that's Mike and Nancy's sister. I'm going
yeah.
to get her.
You're
No
right. That is good. That's
questions
some good
asked.
superhero stuff from L.
Exactly. I also really like the mind like probing scene that we got of her interrogating Akers
Ooh, yeah,
inside the Upside
that
Down,
was a good scene.
where Hop was interrogating him physically and Elle was interrogating him mentally. I thought that was really cool.
You're right. That was a good scene. I like when she's able to kind of flex her psychic muscles like that.
Yeah, you forget that like she has like a very wide array of abilities from psychic to physical. Obviously the physical growing especially in this season. Also just like Elle is definitely hitting the hooked on phonics. Her vocabulary is significantly better. Her syntax has improved dramatically.
The cadence of her speech is always it's jarring now, especially because like Millie Bobby Brown is older and I don't see her as I just see her as Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
It's kind of jarring. But
well, I will say
endearing.
that on a positive note, Millie Bobby Brown is doing a good job of she's keeping that like very like childlike cadence to it
Yeah.
and that inflection of how she says things while
Yeah.
also talking in full sentences to remind us that like yeah, like Elle is kind of stunted, you know? Like
Right.
she was in this underground experimental facility for years on end, and so she she's still working on it, which I enjoyed. Also just like the humor, like the dry humor that comes out of Elle is still present, and I like that. You get this good scene between Elle and Mike where Mike is describing how Will was having, the tingles on the back of his neck, and he was like, Will started having feelings, and Elle goes, "If Mike has feelings, something's wrong."
Yeah.
And it's just like Michael's like, "Yeah, I know." And I was thinking the same thing. I was like, "Please, thank you, somebody say it.
Yep.
If Will is feeling something, look into it because
Yeah,
something is
don't-
not right."
Exactly. If Will is feeling something, look into it. If Holly tells you she's being stalked, look into it.
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah.
Mike.
So you get some good humor out of her as well. I thought that was good.
Do you want to talk about the sister stuff here, or save that for later?
I guess we could talk about it. You know what? Let's talk about it actually let's bring up our next character, Dr. K, and then talk about Kali in tandem with Dr. K and 11, because I think she really has to do with both of them. So Dr. K is one of our new characters this season. She is the uh non-supernatural protagonist of this season. She's interesting. She's in the Upside Down. The reveal that we have a military base in the Upside Down, that was cool. I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting that. I found that to be very shocking.
Yeah.
Her role of just like experimenting down there, I think, is interesting. I'll say this much: she's no Dr. Brenner.
No.
Uh,
No, Papa.
but this brings me into my question, which ties us into where you were going with this. It's just like, why is she so obsessed with Elle? I don't understand why she thinks Elle is taking the children, and why is she so obsessed with obtaining Elle when she has Callie in captivity? Like, I don't necessarily fully understand what's going on down there. What's your take on that?
I'm not sure. I mean, just beyond like the base motivation for these military scientists wanting to experiment on her, I don't know. Um, it does I was getting a lot of like Alien Earth vibes from everything going on in the upside down bunker, of just like experimentation without foresight as to what the consequences of their action will be. Um, I don't know if Dr. K actually thinks Elle is the one responsible for taking the kids, or if she's just saying that as an excuse for them.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, 'cause she
Yeah.
does explicitly
Yeah.
say that, but I get what you're saying.
It might just be. I mean, she might think that. She might suspect it, or it might just be an excuse for her to be able to sick her dogs on Elle.
Yeah.
It's cool that we got Linda Hamilton here.
Yeah.
Sarah Connor from Terminator.
80s.
Yeah, 80s for sure. I don't really care about the character. I mean, I don't know if we're really
Nor
supposed
do
to. She just is kind of serving that military antagonist role. Military scientist.
You're right. She's taking the place of, she's kind of combining the roles of Dr. Brenner and the general, I forget his name, but from last season, who we still have in this season.
Yeah, but he's just kind of been demoted.
Yeah, this is fully Dr. K's operation. And I mean, I understand, we're down there. She's trying to experiment on the Upside Down, understand it more, weaponize it. But I just can't wrap my head around like why she has Callie like in captivity. She's like bloodletting her. You see like the vials of blood and everything. She's like held up by shackles. I don't understand like what we're doing here with Callie and Mike. I do have actually. I'll bring this up when we get to dynamic deductions, because I think that fits better in that category. But I just do want to be cognizant of the fact that each one of the kids kind of has a specific power set, and Collie's is she makes people see things. Her thing is visions.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't remember that.
So that's her go-to. She makes people see things that are not there. Unlike, I mean, Vecna does that as well, but I mean, Elle does not do that. You know what I mean? So, is something
Dr.
going
K
on?
just trying to collect them like Pokemon?
Maybe. I don't know how many left are left at this point, but
Yeah.
Vecna kind of took care of the rest of them, I think.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't think there's like supposed to be a lot of depth to this character. I just don't understand why she's so obsessed with Elle, outside of, we just can't let one of these beings in the loose. I think is what it boils down to. I'm with you though. Now that I think about it, like maybe she doesn't fully believe that she's taking the children, but that's how she has to justify it in order to have the funding behind this operation.
Right, because they've been hunting Elle, I think,
For a
this
while.
entire time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we'll see.
So it just works with the narrative.
Yeah.
We have well, okay. So before we move on though, just like what did you think of the reveal of Kali?
Not a fan. I don't know why we're doing this.
So
Obviously they're doing something with it, and it could turn out to work well, but I don't know.
there's a theory. I got a theory for you. I'll talk about it later.
Please talk about it
Right now?
right now.
Okay.
Now's the time.
So the show is about I cannot take credit for this. I heard it elsewhere or saw it elsewhere. I don't even remember at this point. But the show is about Dungeons and Dragons. In Dungeons and Dragons, you have a 20-sided die. And in season 1, episode 1, to defeat the Demogorgon, the party had to roll a D20. They had to roll a 20 in order to win. If you take 11 and 8 and 1, which if you take the logic that Henry is applying to his new children, that would make Will number 1. He was his first. 11 and 8 and 1 adds up to 20, which is what you need to defeat the Demogorgon. Just saying, that's some good writing right there.
So it would be Elle, Will, and Kali against Vecna.
I'm saying that the only reason why Kali is here because that's the number that needs to happen for the math to math and for them to roll a d20 to defeat the Demogorgon. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
That's
And
one of those
also-
ideas that depends on the execution. I'll say that
Yeah,
much.
100%. I also, a part of me does like to think that, I mean, so season 2, episode 7 is unanimously like everybody's least favorite season of Stranger Things. That's the Kali episode. And that was like the backdoor pilot episode. And a part of me does think that the Duffer Brothers was like, oh yeah, okay guys, you know what? We're going to make it important again. So maybe some of that's at play here.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. It felt like I was getting Avengers Endgame vibes from that, of trying to make Thor: The
Yeah.
Dark World relevant,
Yeah.
which works there
Yeah.
because it's done well.
Could work
don't-
here. Could work here. I'm not writing it off. I'm not writing it off because
Me either.
I love this dice idea. I really like it, man. I really like it. They're going to roll a d20 and defeat the Demogorgon.
It just makes me nervous because it has to work. If whatever's going on there doesn't work, like, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know why they would want to make that episode essential viewing.
Well, so the Duffer Brothers released a rewatch order of 4 episodes that they think that you should watch going into season 5, and that was on there. So
Oh God, why are they doing this? Oh man,
hey, man,
that's
I believe
didn't
in
know
them.
that.
I think they got a plan. I think they got a plan.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. Whether or not I'm on board with that plan remains to be seen.
So I want to move on here to another new character that we should talk about. We're kind of boiling it down here. We're going to talk about kind of some of the most important characters here at the end. But before we do that, I want to talk about Derek the Delightful Turnbow. Can we please talk about Derek the Delightful?
Delightful Derek. I'm a huge fan of Derek here, man. Like,
dude, I really expected to hate him.
He's so funny. He's so funny.
Dude, he's so good. What a welcome addition to the show.
Yep. He is Stranger Things. Like, that is the essence of Stranger Things, is that character.
Hey, dude, like we mentioned with Holly, bringing it back to the kids. I mean, it's characters like him that keep us grounded in what Stranger Things has always been about.
This whole idea to bring in this younger generation, I think, was one of the smartest decisions they've made with this season.
I agree.
To just kind of reignite that spark of like that youthful energy that is lost a little bit with these young adult actors now, honestly.
Yeah. No, the way that they bring him in as like Holly's bully is really interesting. And then, from the get-go, you're just like, oh, like, I don't like this kid. He is Holly's bully. We get an introduction to his family
They're
and just
all
being,
pretty bad.
they're
Pretty
they're all
bad
pretty
people.
bad. And you're just like, man, I'm gonna hate this kid's guts. And then you get the scene where they kidnap the family, and
Felony.
Derek is trying to run away, trying to escape. Poor little guy can't make it very far. Will really puts on the burners there to get Derek. Good for Will, but he's up there on top of the barn, and Joyce is like, there is a monster that will come eat you if you do not get down. And he doesn't believe them. And then what comes through the roof? A Demogorgon. And from then on out, Derek
He's like,
is
okay.
he's team the party. He's like, whatever you guys say, I'm with you. Cool. And from then on, you're just like, I freaking love Derek, man. He is so funny. He's so good. The way that he like takes on the position of being the inside man.
He's like the missionary.
In the Max Z.
Yeah. Like the missionary.
He's visualizing with all of his followers, and dude, I mean, like he's really good. Like he's actually really good. He plays that role well. He's funny. He's very just like he's charming. He's cute. He captures the screen, and just like that mission in and of itself, like the way that he like buckles up and he goes in there with his lunchbox, and he's gonna like kind of be the man on the inside for this escape operation in the Max Z, and he gets all the followers, and then stuff starts going wrong in that operation, and basically he gets to the point where gotta run, and he's running out, and he's like, what's her name? I forget her name, but she's a snitch, and he's just like running out into the bathroom trying to escape. It's the whole sequence is good. I love Derek, man. I love him.
I'm very interested to see what they do with Derek next.
I gotta say, Stranger Things has a reputation of introducing characters in a season that we like and then killing them off in the same season. While I do not wish for Derek Turnbow to leave us this season, I'm nervous. The only thing that makes me not nervous about it is the fact that he is 9 years old. I don't know if they got the balls, but also
his family
I know they do.
Sucks. So
I know they do.
We're not gonna feel bad for them.
Yeah. So I hope Derek makes it out of it.
Derek is at risk.
He's at risk. He's definitely I would say up there with Dustin, unfortunately, in terms of the Deadpool list.
Yeah, he's definitely up there. I would say Dustin, Derek, and Hopper are at risk.
Yeah. I think a good brief second here to put alongside with Derek is just to briefly touch on Erica Sinclair.
Not much to say except I love Erica.
She's so funny.
She's so
funny.
She's smart. She's funny. She's spunky.
Yeah, I really like the fact that we get introduced to her in this season, and she's sitting in Mr. Clark's classroom. I thought that was like a really good throwback to season 1. I will say this: Pariah Ferguson is clearly a grown woman trying to play an 11-year-old.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
Yeah, I think
my interpretation is that she's supposed to be the age that our party members were when they first started, especially because she's in Mr. Clark's classroom. Yeah. I'm getting that she's supposed to be between like 11 and 12.
She's like 17, 18.
She's like clearly 19 years old. I mean, like she's too old, but so is Holly. So,
but she's still
I just got to get over it.
I think Priya Ferguson is still it's believable enough because she still has like that little kid like spunk attitude, you know.
She plays the role incredibly well. That sassiness. You get that really good scene of her like in the Turnbow's house with the pie, and just like making the Turnbows eat the pie, and her friend Tina will not eat the pie, and she's like, Tina, eat the pie, and she won't, and so she stabs her in the neck with a syringe to knock her out.
That was really
good. I mean, Erica's never afraid to get her hands dirty. We learned that in season 3.
After having to swallow her pride and apologize to her friend just to get in the door, so she was able to kind of bide her time and get some paid back.
Yeah, so not much to say. I hope we get more of Erica. I don't know if we will.
I think we'll get a little something.
I really do like her. Okay, we are kind of moving on here to the final 3 characters on our list.
Yep.
We have Max Mayfield, Vecna, and Will remaining to talk about. Honestly, where would you like to start with this?
Let's start with Max
Okay.
because I think Vecna and Will are going to be very tied
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Max. So we get the reveal that she has been stuck basically in Vecna's mind prison for the last 20 months.
Very
Um,
interesting.
Spent a long time running through traumatic memories trying to make her way out.
Yeah.
Almost does. She's almost able to break out because Lucas is sitting there with her in the hospital bed playing Kate Bush, but she's just
Yeah.
a second too late. And at that point, she is left to kind of accept her fate, right? And
Yeah.
just she's running away from Vecna and is able to find this cave that he is too afraid to go into. And she has made that her sanctuary
Yeah.
until she finds out Holly is there.
Yep.
Um, First of all, shout out Sadie Sink. As always, really great stuff. Um, I kind of like Spirit Guide Max.
Yeah, man. So I'm with you. I'm very interested in what's happening here, and I don't fully understand it. Uh, so we're we're agreeing here that she's clearly stuck in Henry's mind, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, and this memory that she is stuck in involving this cave is a traumatic memory for Henry.
So I will say it if you want me to, but I won't if you don't, because it's a spoiler from what I watched in the YouTube video recap of Stranger Things: The First Shadow. I think I know why that cave is off limits for Henry. Do you want me to keep that from you?
Leave that to the imagination for now. I can probably guess like generally what's going on there,
Okay,
but I'll leave the specifics for what happened. I Something bad happened to Henry in that cave. I can
that's
glean
yeah.
that much.
And if it's what I gathered from watching the YouTube recap of for Shadows, I think I know it's not important the details right now. So
Yeah,
yes, but I am of the belief that Henry cannot go in there because a extremely traumatic memory occurred in that cave, and so he will not go in there.
yeah. I mean, I poor Max cannot get out of this cycle of trauma. Um, it does. I'm curious though, like what her plan now is, right? Because so she has this long-term plan where Holly's gonna have to go back to Henry's mansion and play it cool for a while
Yeah,
until something else happens.
yeah, very
Um,
curious about that.
and my one of my questions is like Lucas is there with her like at least he's there with her like once a week, right? Or is it every day? I don't know. He's there with her very frequently and regularly,
Frequently, right?
playing
Yeah,
Kate Bush.
yeah,
I think my reading of it was that after she had that near escape, she gave up on she gave up hope of getting out, right? So she wasn't listening for the music.
yeah,
Um, I imagine she will be listening for the music now.
yeah.
Um, but why does she need Holly?
Yeah, no, and I think that takes me into my question of just like you touched upon it briefly, but in saying that she's spirit guide Max, but what is her role in this story right now? Like ultimately, obviously, the end game is to get her back into reality, out of Henry's mind, prison, and out of the hospital. But what role is she going to play in this season? How does Holly fit into that? I mean,
I'll tell you
I'm
what I think. I think eventually she is going to break free. And when she does, she's going to do that with knowledge that they can wield against Vecna.
about
Whatever
his
it is
trauma
that
in the
his
cave.
trauma is, whatever it is
So
that his weakness is, that
okay,
the party will then be able to wield against him.
so whatever the plan is with Holly escaping is going to help Max escape. Max is going to escape with knowledge of what Vecna doesn't want anybody to know, and that's ultimately going to help them take down Vecna. I like that. I like that a lot.
Something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
No, you're right. I mean, she's definitely coming out of Henry. I don't think I don't think Max is on the Deadpool.
no, no. I don't think that you can put her through all this and then just kill her.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I'm just very curious to see like how her role evolves moving forward. I think her storyline is interesting. I think it's very interesting that she's stuck in Henry's mind, and that now she is basically like, yeah, Stranger Things does such a good job of having multiple paths converging at once. And so
Yeah.
like now we have multiple paths converging on Holly, and Max has just joined the fray in there, and she now has her own line leading to Holly. And so now Holly is acting as, the nucleus, the nexus point for all of these characters that we know and love.
Yep, that's a good point.
Vecna.
Let's talk Vecchi.
I separated Vecna from Mr. Whatsit and Henry, which because we've talked about Mr. Whatsit and Henry a little bit already. We can kind of talk about him more in here, but before we do that, I just want to talk about Vecna himself and the reveal that we get about Vecna in episode 4. The juiced up version of Vecna, Vecna 2.0, whatever you
I,
want to call him.
Buff Groot Vecna.
Yeah, but yeah, okay. So I'm glad you said that because dude is clearly taking some plays out of Groot's playbook
Yep.
with how he has gone about some of his creative deaths in this season so far. Um, I mean, dude, listen, he's lost like all of his humanity. You don't really see like any human aspects of him anymore except for
Yeah.
his eyes. Everything else is like the upside down vines. You get like the horns up here. His neck is so skinny. His like abdomen is like gone. I mean, he is full blown upside down mode, and I think his design is awesome. Did you freeze?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. It switched over to my iPhone mic for some reason, but I'm back.
Oh, weird. Vecna's design. What do you think?
Very cool, very Groot coded. But I like what you're pointing out of it just kind of slowly stripping away his humanity. Um,
Yeah.
the actor who plays Vecna slash Henry, Jamie Campbell Bower, has talked in interviews a lot about how we are going to learn more about Henry as a person and obviously the trauma that he's been through. And it's interesting that our intro to Vecna this season is all of those kind of vestiges of humanity being stripped away.
Yeah.
You get you get Henry, right? Henry being terrified of entering into the cave and chasing Max. So just a lot of interesting stuff going on there. I have Vecna questions.
Okay. Please ask them. Because I don't really have Vecna questions. I have Vecna statements.
Okay. First Vecna question. Why do you think he needs the kids?
Okay. Yeah. Good question. So my understanding, the way I'm kind of looking at this is I'm kind of viewing Vecna as Brenner.
Okay.
And Will is one, and now we have 11 other kids because we get there's 12 spires in Vecna's castle, his lair. There's 12 spires, so there's room for 11 more kids.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically says like he wants to like reshape the world under like his new vision, and I'm not entirely sure what he means by that because why does he need like 12 super powered kids in order to do that? Like I don't
Yeah.
know like what his end game is, but I'm basically looking at it through the lens of Henry is Brenner and he is trying to get his own, 1 through 12. Which I guess we didn't get 12 in with Brenner, we got 11, but 1 through 12 for reshaping the world the way that he sees fit. He has like a little line about that, how like he's gonna like help him like see the world that he wants seen through Will or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. That kind of leads me into my second question is like, how does Will tie into all of it? And as I'm kind of sitting there watching the finale, thinking back to the first scene of the season of the flashback to Will and Vecna, like, do you think it's possible that Vecna's whole plan, at least the main goal of his plan, was to get Will to kind of take this next step and evolve and tap deeper into the Upside Down so that he can then utilize this leveled up version of Will for whatever the next phase of his plan is.
That's interesting. I don't know.
Because
Maybe.
like what he says to Will in that opening scene is like, we are going to do such beautiful things together, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Together. And like
Like master
I
apprentice type
yes.
vibes.
Or like sharing the same essence, really.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're
I
right.
like Will, I think he says it at this point, at one point in the season, is like that Will kind of is Vecna. And I think that
Well,
there
yeah, no,
is
he says
a
he says
lot.
to Mike, he's like, I'm not Vecna. And it's like, okay, foreshadowing.
I think there's a lot of truth to that, in that like once Will is able to tap into the Upside Down and the hive mind in the way that he is, does that then allow Vecna to tap into Will and use him as like some kind of surrogate on the surface world and utilize him to kind of spread his version, his vision of the world?
Yeah. 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 No, I get that because I mean, you got to look at like Vecna's motives from the get go since we've known him is to unleash the upside down upon the real world.
Do we know why he wants to do that, though, aside from just wanting to wreak that havoc?
I no, I don't think we do. I don't think we've ever gotten like insight on like what his true motive is, and I
Yeah.
still don't fully understand that, to be honest with you. But I just know that like that is his goal, and I think that what you're saying makes a lot of sense of using Will as a surrogate, as uh I mean maybe like as like a we don't know how the evolution of I guess what I'm trying to say, we don't know how death and like reincarnation or anything like that works in the Upside Down.
Yeah.
It seems very possible that with the hive mind, that Vecna could sacrifice himself and then inhabit Will's body, basically.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. Maybe Will recognizing his potential and connecting with the Upside Down is a necessary step for Vecna to achieve that goal, and in which case it would be crazy because then Vecna appeared in episode 4, and we kind of think that maybe while the party didn't beat him, maybe they at least like halted his progress there a little bit. Maybe that's not true at all. Maybe Vecna had to show up in order to be the catalyst for Will.
Everything else.
Yeah, and which is interesting too because it was my understanding that like Vecna couldn't come to the surface world yet, but also like I guess the big gate that they have in the Max Z was due to the split in Hawkins, so that was from the 4 gates converging. So that is what he needed in order to come up. So that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, really, really vague stuff there. I don't think we're supposed to have any answers to that yet, to be honest with you.
I agree. I think the Duffer Brothers were saying that like this fate or volume 2 is going to be like the Upside Down lore dump.
Yeah, I hope that is the case.
I mean, there's running out of runway.
That is true. The just back to like the intro scene of where we get him in episode 4. Super cool. It was like very much like the Darth Vader reveal scene in Rogue One, which the Duffer Brothers have said was the inspiration for that scene. And so that was just one of those things when I saw it, I was like, oh, that looks a lot like that. And then I read it, I was like, yeah, cool. I like that a lot. Yeah, man. I mean, not just Vecna though, like every iteration that we've gotten of Henry and Mr. Whatsit of this character in this season, I've enjoyed. The Vecna side is obviously like the final boss. The Mr. Whatsit is this really cool, creepy new iteration of the character. I'm very curious also as to how he's pulling that off. How is he manifesting himself as human form in these kids' minds? I guess it's not really that far-fetched of a thing to imagine. And then also like we get some flashbacks, so we get him as the orderly chasing Max We get a bunch of different versions of that character of Henry and his different iterations in this season, and I think all of them work well.
Very, very effective villain, I think.
Very. If this lands the plane, he's going to be up there in terms of great villains of TV for sure.
Yeah.
Let's talk about our last character.
The sorcerer.
Let's talk about Sorcerer Will. Okay, perfect timing here. M has requested to be part of the Will conversation, and she has just joined the conversation here. Okay, we're moving on to the Will conversation, and for everybody, the honorary. Well, we already said that Benny's the honorary third chair of the pod, so I guess M's honorary fourth chair. She has guests. She's been a guest twice already, so I guess 3 times now. So she can probably take precedent over Benny. But
you guys work that out.
Yeah. M wanted to give her thoughts on Will, so it's a really good point that we literally just got to him. So everybody, welcome M to the pod, to the video pod. That's the camera. There you go.
Hello.
So let's talk about Will Byers. Vecna 2.0, or number 1, however you want to play it out here. That's what we got. So I want to start with Jordan. A point that you have been talking about a lot is that you think that Steve and Robin are the 2 standouts so far. And I want to know why you're not putting Will in that group as well.
It's a fair question. I think for me, Will and Noah Schnapp as the performer has been one of the biggest perpetrators of the self-seriousness this season.
Yeah. Okay.
Not to say that he hasn't been through some insanely traumatic events, but I think the way that he's like, it almost kind of feels like he's in a different show from everybody else. Everything just feels so end of the world, like tragic, and like, not to say that it isn't, right? But what I love about Stranger Things is how that stuff gets juxtaposed against the fun and things like that. So I think it's
always the case with Will, though.
It is.
His world is always falling apart. He's
is.
always captured or possessed, or now, seeing visions of his friends and family dying.
That's absolutely true. And I'm not saying that he isn't justified in acting the way that he's acting. But I personally just have a better time listening to Rock and Robin and Steve banter a little bit more.
I won't disagree with you there. I do want to say, what's your opinion on the acting chops in terms of Noah Schnapp?
I think he's good. I think it is, like, the emotional stuff I think he handles really well. But I think that's like all, I don't know if it's his performance or if it's like the directing. It feels like that's the only kind of note that he plays.
Okay. I think he's one of the most talented people in this show. I definitely think, Maya Hawke is, I'd say, the best performer of the show, but I think that Noah Schnapp is, of the party members, the core party members, I think Noah Schnapp is doing the most here. And
I would probably make an argument for Lucas, but I think that
I was gonna say that, yeah. I would hear that argument, and we've already made that argument.
But also, I mean, Gayton is awesome too.
Yeah, I mean, they're all great, which is one of the great things about this show. So I just think that his, and you said, his intensity, and you're right, he is very intense, and I think that he plays that super well. But we don't have to talk about the acting forever. Um, do you have something you want to say about Noah Schnapp, or do you just want to talk about this scene?
I will just say that I feel like Will, for the entire 4 seasons, is the victim.
Oh yeah,
And
big time.
he plays the victim very well. I feel like it was in the first episode when Joyce and Hopper were talking about like Elle like fighting versus Will being wrapped in saran wrap, and I was like, I feel like that is very true. She has kept him fully saran wrapped, tries to keep him protected, and I think even when we were watching, I just like I had a moment of feeling bad for Jonathan just because she was like, Will can't,
She can't go on the mission.
Can't go on the mission, but Jonathan, you know how to
can.
do it, right?
Yeah.
Jonathan
you're going
can.
upside
Jonathan's
down, right?
expendable. Will is not. I mean, obviously he went missing. I don't know what I would do if Lucy went missing. But I think that that's interesting. And so I do very much like that this scene, we get to see him become more. And so I don't know how much I have to say on his acting yet, because for so long he's just played the vulnerable, the victim, he is living in his own little depressy world. So it will be interesting to see
him become
Vecna. So, well,
Jordan, a question I want to ask you is relating to Will's relationship with Mike in this season.
Okay.
Something that we talked about in the Stranger Things season 5 prep pod is that if they try to go about making Mike and Will more than friends, that it's a disservice to both of their characters.
Mm-hmm.
I really like this season because Mike and Will are being great friends to one another. It's really, really good stuff. I really like the relationship that they're building upon in this season, especially given, the awkwardness that we got out of like the beginning and most of season 4 between the two characters. What is your take on kind of, do you think they're leaning a certain direction or not? Specifically referencing when Robin sees the two of them talking outside of the tunnel before the mission begins.
Yeah, I feel very confident that they are steering away from that. And I think I think Robin basically tells him, like, stop looking for your worth in somebody else and find it within yourself. Stop putting so much in this basket of hoping that this person is the person for you, and you just accept the person that you are. Yeah. And so I think that was what Will needed to hear to kind of jostle him out of that a little bit, because like if that was the way they were going, we would have seen something reciprocated, right? Like a look from Mike, something like that.
That's fair.
That has never happened. Mike loves Elle. And I can't imagine
that they would have. Or does he love superpowered people?
You might be onto something. I might have to retract everything. No, I'm just kidding. I think that it was a really because it felt self-aware from the show of like the writers knowing that people were gonna be calling that potential out, like the potential for that trope, and this was them saying, "No, we hear you. We're not doing that." And we're in the process of not doing that. We're going to call out why that isn't the right way to go about things. And we're going to let Will self-actualize on his own.
Okay. Follow-up question to the both of you then is, so we already talked about the speech that Robin gives him in the tunnel, and then how that's played while Will is ascending to his powers and everything. How do we feel about kind of Will's powers being an allegory for his sexuality? Is that playing well for you? Is that not playing well for you? Is that even how you see it?
I don't necessarily see his powers as an allegory for his sexuality. I think what I was saying earlier is that like the Upside Down and the hive mind in general are just, to me at least, like a metaphor for like mental health and mental wellness. And so for Will, that a lot of times manifests as like uncertainty and self-consciousness about his sexuality. And I think like being able to ultimately like tap into those powers that he has and tap into the hive mind is emblematic of him like coming to terms with himself. But I don't know like the powers themselves. I maybe I'm missing something, but I don't know if they're like the like because he's basically just using Vecna's powers, right? Like I don't know.
That's my interpretation. Yeah.
Do you guys see any kind of parallel between the powers themselves and like anything Will is dealing with internally?
Um, I don't
Or is
think
it
so.
just like the
I just
fact
I
of
liked
the
that
powers?
I just liked that when he was speaking with Robin, they really got me. I think I was like the prime audience. I was really like this was like a really good like speech for his sexuality. Like I
Oh
really
yeah,
love that like Robin, I feel like at the end of season 4, you know, like she was like just in the very beginning stages of like acceptance for
yeah,
herself, and so like to see her like blossom into like
absolutely.
really like knowing herself and then being able to like pass that on to Will, I was like definitely following along. And so then as soon as though the speech then became more of accepting all the parts of him and all the things that happened with Vecna and all of that and how that then manifested,
Yeah,
you know, I think I always hoped that Will would get powers, or that like I knew that something would happen because he was connected to Vecna, but I did not expect him accepting himself, not just for his sexuality, but then also for the superpowery stuff,
the
for it
yeah
to be both meanings. I think I that hit me well.
it was
I
like
thought that was done really
accepting
well.
accepting like not only his sexuality but like his traumas of his
Hmm.
past, like obviously everything that happened with the abduction and with Vecna, but also like their dad leaving. Um, and because like that goes back, I saw this earlier that like those flashback scenes that he sees of building the fort with Jonathan or
Hmm.
drawing the picture for Joyce, like those are specific memories that are referenced in earlier seasons, I think, like from Joyce to Will. And so it's him like going back through his like his entire life basically and like finding some semblance of like acceptance and like self-esteem basically, right? Like
Yeah, I
just
just feel like
starting
we like
to
saw
believe in
all of the
himself.
puzzle pieces like finally click into place.
Yeah,
You know, like you like hear something at the right time, and I think he heard Robin at the right time in the right situation for it to not just be this sexuality piece that I feel like we've been following along for 4 seasons. It's been
yeah, it's
the
more than that. Yeah,
entirety of like him and like being able to unlock that within himself
I
to arrive here.
um I am now curious to know what they're gonna do with
Hmm.
the plot line of his sexuality. We had this great sequence, which we got to talk about. Just him getting the powers itself because it was so cool. But this great sequence of him uh, flashback, accepting himself, getting powers, and um, within that, we're kind of led to understand that he is taking Robin's advice and he's finding the value in himself and accepting himself for who he is in all different aspects. So I'm wondering where we go forward with the Will's sexuality plot line, because it almost feels like it's the right move to now not be so prominent of a plot
yeah,
point, like, because Will has gone through this acceptance, and I obviously we still have to I think we need to have this great moment between Will and Jonathan, for example,
yeah,
of thank you for always being there for me, like, this is who I am. I think we have to have that good, like, I guess it doesn't have to be like a direct coming out moment, but a symbolic representation of Will and his friends and family choosing to love him, knowing that he has now chosen to love himself, I think
yeah,
is important. But it almost feels like maybe it's going to take a back burner in terms of, like, maybe we won't get these like glances between Will and
yeah.
Mike, or
No,
Will watching Robin kiss Vicky, so on and so forth.
I don't think this show has ever necessarily been about Will finding love interest.
Right.
It's just been about the acceptance, like the
Yeah.
self-acceptance, really.
Yeah.
Well, I saw in an interview too between Millie and Noah, it was something about like, what did you wish your like? Was there something that you ever wished like for your character, or like if something happened? And
I
Will
think I saw that.
or Noah specifically said like, I
Kissed a
wish I
girl.
would have kissed a girl, or like I think just like kissed anybody. So I feel like they kind of put in there that
It's
wasn't
not
going to happen.
Will ain't
I
getting
think
no action.
I think Millie's was that she wished that Elle peed at some point.
Yeah. And
So,
and then I was like, that's a really weird thing
hard-hitting
to say.
journalism.
And then when the guy peed on the wall, I was like, maybe we were talking about that. But I was like, when else did we see anyone else pee?
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
might just
good
really had to
point.
pee in that moment of that interview.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about last thing for Will here. We got to start wrapping up, Jordan. But
Yep.
let's talk about when he gets his powers and goes full Vecna mode. Just so cool. I mean, come on, that was so cool. He goes hands out 11 style. His eyes glaze over, and he snaps the Demogorgons like twigs, like Vecna does in season 4. I mean, this was cool.
Very symbolic.
This was cool.
Oh yeah. I mean, at the point of no return, all of his friends are about to get got. Like Demogorgons are piercing through the veil of reality everywhere, and this was the only way out.
He became the sorcerer. I mean, this was one heck of a way to leave us for a month. I'll say that much. It was exactly what they wanted us to do. We're sitting here. We're going to talk about it for a month. We're going to speculate. We're going to come back, and we're going to see how this is going to end. And they did their job. It was a really cool.
I think it was
mid-season finale.
It was a good balance of resolution and cliffhanger.
Yeah, a very good way to put it. I think that's our Will talk. I think that wraps up our character talk.
I think so too. And honestly, like,
I really liked that his eyes turned milky white like Vecna's. I thought that was cool. That was a cool difference between them. I mean, fantastic way to end all episode 4 when he wipes the blood off from under his nose. That was really cool.
That was
I really
cool.
liked how he did that. I felt like I very much believed him. It was very cool that he cracked all their bones, like what happened to the other.
He Vecna'd them.
He Vecna'd them, and I really like that. I am liking all the talk about around the world if he's like now like Vecna's number 1.
Yeah.
Do we have a restart of 1?
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that we have 1, 11, and then 1 again. So that's just kind of fun. Don't know what all the ones mean, but I like it.
And 11, 8, and 1 equal 20.
Yes. Like that. Yeah, it was really cool. I really liked it. That was definitely the best part, because I definitely felt like the entire 4 episodes felt like it was episode 9 of every season, where it was like we just went off balls to the wall running. But then for it to get there, I understand why we had to go so fast and why it was just pure content, no fluff.
Pure adrenaline.
We were not messing around.
And would you say that Will scene to close out episode 4 was your bat signal spotlight scene?
Absolutely. The blood, just this when he went specifically. I was just like, oh, thank goodness! Like you are arriving to be a main character.
He looked like an NFL player hitting a sack celebration.
True.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I would give it to that too, or for like more of a Stranger Things vibey scene, I would go with just like the crawl planning montage. I thought that was really good too. Like we were talking about that
signal spotlight scene.
I would say so, yeah.
Okay, my bat signal spotlight scene was the Turnbow trap. I love that so much.
That was a really good one.
Getting the Demogorgon. You get the party making a plan. You get the plan kind of going off well with some snags, and like the physical comedy involved in all that, like the stuff with Lucas and Mike, I thought was a lot of fun. And that was when I was like, okay, like we're back.
Yeah, you're right. That was a really good sequence. I gave I'll just rattle them off real quick. I gave a bat signal spotlight character for each episode. Episode 1 was Robin, episode 2 was Mike, episode 3 was Elle, and episode 4 was Will.
Nice. I didn't go episode by episode. I think my spotlight character over the course of this batch was Robin.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Rockin' Robin.
Okay, so a couple things to talk about here, theories wise. We call theories on Between Two Batcaves dynamic deductions, because if you've been with us, you know that we love an alliteration. Okay, so we've already talked about 11 plus 8 plus 1 equals 20. Won't go back into that. We've kind of already dived into why Kali's back.
Yep.
So I won't go into that. We've also talked about the cave a good bit, so we don't have to talk about that one. What I will talk about is this. Do you think, I'm going to ask a question to get your answers, and then I'll explain. Do you think that there's a chance that this season ends with Will wiping everybody's memory of everything that has happened?
No.
No.
Okay.
Tell me why you think it is going to happen.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's a possibility. So Mike has this bit with Elle on the roof of the Squawk, basically saying how, like, when this is all over, in his campaigns, they go somewhere new because they've seen too much and they cannot return home. And it's somewhere beautiful and peaceful, somewhere like with 3 waterfalls. And basically somewhere to try to forget about what has happened. Is it possible that with Will's new powers, his psychic powers, that, or maybe in tandem, like Will 11 and Kali or something like that, that they are able to wipe the minds of the members of Hawkins so that they can start again, so that they can be in that new world where they can forget about what has happened, where they can start anew. The party can be together and not be hindered by the traumas of their past.
Okay, I'm less of a no now and more of a just I hope not.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I
fair.
was also,
That's fair.
as you were saying everything, I was like, I would hate if that's how they do it.
Because
Okay,
then
I'll
you
just
just
keep
like
my ideas to
No.
myself.
I think that it makes sense, but why I don't like it is because then, okay, so these characters have been through all of this together, and then they just go and live their lives
Then for
without
what?
any of those memories.
Yeah.
But I like where your head's at as far as trying to parse through how this could end.
Yeah. I thought that explanation of Mike about what happens when it's over was interesting. And how could that come into, how could that become a reality for our players here?
Is it a memory wipe or is it just them leaving Hawkins?
I mean, they're still 16.
College?
Yeah, true.
Post-grad?
So yeah, that's what I got in terms of dynamic deductions. We've kind of talked about our prediction draft board throughout the episode today, and basically, we're not at a place where any of us can claim anything on our board so far. I think.
Are you kidding me? Joyce and Hop kissed. Boom. That was who I wanted. That was my couples.
Yeah, but if Hop dies,
he's not. Even if he dies, I don't get points.
He did make the sacrifice play of this batch.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah,
I knew you were gonna say.
I told George he could have it if nobody else dies from
the
sacrifice.
He made the play. He just didn't die.
He just didn't sacrifice.
He's also trying to claim Holly as the biggest glow up. We'll talk about it. I think.
I mean, I just think that no 10-year-old shot. She's 9.
9.
I was so gross at 9.
Yeah.
No 9-year-old is that pretty.
You also missed me trying to make the argument that Mike got metaphorically buff.
That is true. Yeah, Jordan's trying to lawyer his way into winning.
Of course you are.
So I have come to the conclusion that we're going to tally the votes at the end of the season.
I think that's probably fair.
And for anybody out there watching and listening who does not know what we're talking about, please go check out the Instagram. We did a Stranger Things season 5 prediction draft during our last episode for the Stranger Things season 5 primer pod. I made a nice graphic. It's on the Instagram. You can go let us know which team you think is best.
Mine.
We'll talk about it at the end of the season. With that being said, I believe that we just had a great first video pod episode, Jordan, minus some technical difficulties. I'll figure out what to do about that in post.
That is a problem for tomorrow's version of you.
Indeed.
Man, yeah, I think this went pretty well.
Me too.
We went about half the length of these episodes that we watched, which I think
Yeah.
is a win for us.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've had a fun time being on here. I hope you guys have enjoyed hanging out with us on this very special episode of Between Two Batcaves. Hope you've enjoyed getting to sit in with us and watch us as we banter back and forth. Get to see M's beautiful face as well if you stayed to the end. So, congratulations to you. Let us know what you thought about Stranger Things, Season 5, Volume 1. We're on the socials. We're on like all the socials now. And if you want to get us on the socials, odds are you can get us at Between Two Batcaves with the number 2. The only place you can't get us at that handle is on the app formerly known as Twitter, where we can be located at B2 Batcaves with the number 2. We are freshly over on YouTube and TikTok. Gonna be dropping some fun clips over there. I'm sure Austin's gonna be in the lab cutting up some film for us. So go check that out. And yeah, drop some comments. Let us know if you think we're hot or not.
Should I grow my beard back out? I can't. So
get the
please
stash
say no, don't grow it out.
going. Get the stash going.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, now we got a month in between Volume 1 and Volume 2. What are you guys going to do to pass the time? What are you going to be watching? What are you going to be reading? Let us know.
And reminder here, before you close out of the podcast, video app, whatever you're consuming Between Two Batcaves on, before you do, we would really appreciate it if you left us a rating and a review and shared the show. It goes a long way. We'll be back next week with an assortment of different things. We're going to be catching up on some of the things that we've been reading, some of the things that we've been watching, probably a good news week. We'll catch up on some nerd news, all that type of stuff. A good frolic episode. So until then, from our Batcaves to yours, thanks for hanging with us, and we will see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.